Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. And we begin tonight with weather. A winter weather advisory took effect about an hour ago. The immediate concern is freezing drizzle, making for some slick driving conditions tomorrow morning. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on that and the return of snow. Jeremy?
Oh, it's a 1-2 punch here, Mark, and it all continues tomorrow. Basically, tomorrow winds up looking a lot like today did. We wake up to that freezing drizzle. It is already coming down here on the South Hill in Spokane and across much of the region. It's in northeastern Washington and North Idaho where we're going to get hardest hit. For that reason, we have winter weather advisories in effect through noon tomorrow. Now, when it comes to freezing drizzle, it's not really enough to show up on radar, so it might easily trick you if you're trying to do it that way or find it that way. What winds up happening, though, is eventually the threat does shift from this more stagnant weather pattern where we're getting the freezing drizzle to getting a little bit of snow. Now, forecast models put a little bit of this at play Thursday, kind of the middle of the day. A bulk of this doesn't arrive until Thursday afternoon and Thursday night, and then we wind up seeing it taper off as we head into Friday. All said and done, 2 to 3 inches, pretty widespread across the inland Northwest. We'll talk more on snow totals coming up in the full forecast.
Good, Jeremy, thank you very much. In your national headlines tonight, the last Senate race of the 2022 midterm elections wrapped up tonight in Georgia. CBS calling the race for incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. 4 weeks ago, both candidates failed to reach 50% of the vote last month, sending this race to a runoff. Democrats already won 50 seats in the Senate, giving them a slim majority, but this election determines how much breathing room they'll have. Both Warnock and challenger Herschel Walker spoke tonight following the projection.
I'm not going to make any excuses now because we put up one heck of a fight. And I said, that's what we got to do, because this is much bigger. This is much bigger than Herschel Walker.
Each of us has value. And if we have value, we ought to have a voice. And the way to have a voice is to have a vote to determine the direction of your country and your destiny within it.
You can't put a corporation in jail, but you can subject them to fines, and this will have real collateral consequences.
A major verdict involving the Trump Organization. The former president's real estate company was convicted on all counts for what prosecutors described as a culture of fraud and deception. Trump himself was not charged in the case, but prosecutors argued in court that he knew about the fraud. His company now faces up to $1.6 million in fines. A Wisconsin airport made a bizarre discovery after a dog was accidentally set through an X-ray machine. Take a look. According to the TSA, the dog was inside a backpack when it went through the scanner. They are reminding passengers that all pets need to be in carrying cases. The discovery comes weeks after someone packed a cat inside a suitcase at JFK Airport in New York. A massive water break in Minneapolis impacted water pressure across the state today. The main that broke is a 36-inch cast iron pipe that's been serving the area since 1888. The surrounding areas were issued a boil warning due to the presence of mineral deposits released during the incident. Crews are expected to work through the night to fix that water main break. And just a few hours ago, law enforcement here locally made their presence known at the homeless camp near I-90 in Freya. Deputies were handing out flyers to the people living at the camp announcing its imminent closure. KREM 2 obtained a copy of that flyer being handed out at the camp today, and we have more on that what management is saying tonight.
Well, things here at the homeless encampment off of I-90 are just now settling down. I actually just spoke with a camper's mother who said she rushed here after hearing the news that campers were being served with flyers like these. City and county behavioral health units came to deliver flyers saying the camp would be closing soon and campers would need to prepare their next steps. The flyers identify Spokane shelter options, mental health and addiction resources, and free meal sites. But Executive Director of Jules Helping Hands, Julie Garcia, says the way law enforcement went about sharing this information was all wrong. She says 20 to 30 officers showed up to hand out flyers with information that has already been available in the camp's resource tent. She says the effort was based more in fear than in compassion.
We have reached out to the Sheriff's Department and we reach out to the Police Department all the time, trying to come up with a better way to do this. We know that they have to be involved at some point. Like, can we create a better way to do it than intimidating these folks. It will help them respond better. It will help them engage more than just simply scaring them.
Garcia says the process needs to be more collaborative. She says some people in this camp have had bad previous experiences with law enforcement, and the presence could have done more harm than good. She says the camp isn't meant to be here forever, but the people here need to be ready, and Spokane's shelter capacity also needs to be ready. Garcia says many of the options listed on the flyers shows little available capacity, and pushing people out of the camp too soon could result in more people on the streets. Mark Gregory with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office told KREM 2 that this camp would be, quote, gone sooner rather than later. This all comes on the heels as the Calais project is set to begin moving people from this camp into its facility by the end of this week. In Spokane, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Well, we did receive a statement from the Washington Department of Transportation in which they said they are disappointed with the city and county's actions today. Meantime, new funding means the Hope House Women's Shelter will stay open longer than expected. It comes from the Department of Commerce in the form of $330,000, enough to keep that shelter open for the next 6 months.
The most exciting thing is that we're not at risk of closing the doors when it's 20 degrees outside and these women really have nowhere else to go.
The shelter provides 100 beds for women in downtown Spokane. In the past year, it provided emergency shelter and housing services to more than 600 women. In Oregon tonight, crews are dumping large piles of boulders along the freeway in place of the homeless camps that used to be there. The boulders came from the Oregon Department of Transportation, and ODOT described them as an aggressive landscaping technique to make sure campers are not on state property. They cite safety concerns, saying many homeless people have been killed when cars spin out off the icy roads.
Jordan was known by his friends and his coworkers as kind, generous, brave, hardworking, adventurous, and committed to his job in serving the public.
Today, the community honored Bellevue police officer Jordan Jackson. He was killed in a motorcycle crash last month. Jackson, who was originally from Spokane, was on his department motorcycle when he was struck and killed by a car. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. And starting tomorrow, Moscow police will be removing personal belongings from the house where the 4 students were murdered nearly 4 weeks ago. The items being removed are no longer needed for the investigation, according to officers. Police say this is the next step in bringing closure to the victims' families.
And it's important to me. It's important for us as a department to go in and take care of the families and get the items for them so that they can have some of those back and some of those memories back that are fond memories. And I'm a dad. I understand the the meaning behind some of those things. It may be something that we gave one of our children or something, and we're just trying to bring some of that healing.
This is still an active investigation. If you have information that could help with the case, you are urged to contact the Moscow Police Department tip line at 208-883-7180. You can also send an email to that address right there at the bottom of your screen. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. One man is in custody tonight after police say he fired more than 24 gunshots in downtown Spokane this morning. No one was hurt, but officers say he did point the gun at 3 people across from Riverfront Park on Spokane Falls Boulevard. The suspect's been identified as 45-year-old Benjamin Crowfoot. KREM 2 spoke with witnesses at the scene today who heard everything happen.
We heard gunshots, about probably like 9 at first, and then there was a pause. We kind of came to the window and we're looking out and we seen this guy, and then about 9 more shots went off. I didn't exactly see the gun. He was kind of obstructed a little bit, but he was acting pretty sporadic. He was over here and then ended up over here laying on the ground.
Crowfoot is now facing multiple criminal charges, including first-degree assault and 28 counts of reckless endangerment. Gonzaga head baseball coach Mark Maktoff will spend 2 days in jail and pay a fine for a DUI arrest back in June. Maktoff was arrested for driving under the influence in Reardon. His blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Maktoff must report to jail on Friday and spend this weekend in jail as part of his sentence. He'll also have to serve 2 years of probation and pay a $1,500 fine. And tonight, USPS addressing regional mail delays. They told us that due to staffing issues and the holiday workload, some neighborhoods are seeing delivery delays. Among the most impacted areas are homes in rural Spokane County. USPS sent us a statement regarding the delays saying, quote, there may be days when a customer may not receive mail, but we are rotating employees and assignments so they will get mail the following day with the postmaster carrying routes. We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused, and we are working to restore regular, consistent service, unquote. Last night, the Spokane City Council passed what they are calling a fair meal delivery ordinance. In a 5-2 vote, the ordinance caps delivery fees within the city of Spokane to 15%. Beforehand, some apps like Uber Eats charged up to 30% of the prices of an order just in fees alone. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. Washington elected officials could be getting raises next year, but the decision hangs in the balance. The details when we're back in just 90 seconds.